Yeah, so this is a completely new way we're doing Be Easy in the streets. Before, we were going out and actually talking to people at their restaurants where they worked. We were actually at the I gotta figure out where to look. We were actually just
the
at
University Center Club.
yeah, and we were there with, oh gosh, that feels like a lifetime ago, but we were there with Nicole Everett, and two other really awesome leading ladies, and we talked all about Women's History Month and what it's been like. So now it seems like a great time to talk about what's going on in our community and the people that are helping us and the people that are, keeping us alive during this time. So you're our obvious choice.
So National COVID Month, I think is what this is referred to.
Oh, geez, we've got a whole dedicated month.
I don't know. I just made that up, but
we should every April.
That's what it's going to be now.
Yeah, COVID.
National
month.
COVID year to me.
Yeah, right. Completely different. Oh goodness. Yeah. So I just wanted to pick your brain a little bit and actually just ask you how you got into hospitality in the first place.
Yeah. So. I tell people our story isn't a story of, writing a business plan and honing in on the business plan to where, oh my God, I got to wait for the perfect opportunity, the perfect location. I wish that was our story at times. I mean, because I have a lot of envy for people that totally jump ship from their job and they do something like that. Or, I have a lot of respect for the guys out there, like Ricardo's in Midtown, that on like Mondays, right, they're closed just so John can have a day off. You know? So that's not necessarily our story. I'm a marketing guy at heart.
Awesome.
So I came to Tallahassee in 2007. Because of I joined the Zimmerman agency, and I was there till December of 2013. In between all that, my title was director of digital strategy, but and back in those days, as things were growing more and more towards social media, I was basically the social media director, because that's what you were handling a ton of. My best friend from college was in New York City. He came down to the Oklahoma game in 2011, and we were tailgating, and he said, "Hey, I'm meeting with the boosters about an opportunity over there." And I'm like, "Are you crazy? That is, what are you talking about?" And long story short, he did put together a business plan. So there was that process. And he pitched the concept of an open air gastropubby type vibe. That was the big word in 2012.
I remember gastropub. Yeah.
And so he pitched that concept, and they loved it. And a month later or so, he asked me if I wanted to be his local partner.
That's awesome.
He's like, "I'm not going to live there, so I could use a local partner." And he's like, "You run the brand and, be like 15, 20 hours a week." And so my initial job was going to be like my Uber. Mm-hmm. This was going to be my side hustle.
Yeah.
And after we opened in August of 2013 and then went through that season, which was the national championship season, but having said that, no one expected us to do that. We had a redshirt freshman quarterback. Mm-hmm. We didn't know, and so about halfway through it, we're like, we're kind of like FSU at this time. We're like, holy cow, we have something special here, right? Yeah. And we in December I left Zimmerman and made this a full-time gig. So
wow.
So again, my story also isn't one of like I totally quit my job, and then I quit my job, and then I was like, oh my God, trying to hop into the thing and taking a huge leap of faith. Now I tell people all the time, as I look back on it, I was super naive. I mean, I think this time goes to show you that, right? No one could have, in 2013, if you would have told me, Matt, there's going to be a pandemic that totally shuts down all bars and restaurants, and you're going to be in the hospitality industry during a pandemic, I would tell you I would probably, with 2 small children, my kids were 3 and 4 at the time, and I had a nice job. It wasn't like I was not, doing okay in life.
Yeah.
I may have taken pause, that being said, I didn't, I kind of flew blindly. And so we left, and then, so that's my story of how I got involved in it. And then from there, like any small business owner, you go from, I'm the marketing guy to now I'm involved in accounting stuff.
Yeah.
I'm involved in HR and all the other stuff. And so, I still don't get involved in like hospitality process conversations other than from the standpoint of something's not working. Or anything like that. I truly get to work, and my partners do as well, get to work on the business, not in the business. And so, so it's we have that infrastructure set up. So I tell people all the time, like down at our stores or anything that we do, I'm like a mythical unicorn. You're not going to see me.
I know, right? I've heard about you, like Matt T, and I'm finally seeing you.
You don't see me around or anything like that. I come in, I come out, and if I'm there for a very specific purpose. The only time I'm there in kind of lingering hangout mode typically is game days.
Yeah.
And whether I'll be there, Centrale or Township or wherever. And so, I guess, that was, so Madso was the first in 2013.
Okay. Awesome.
In 2015, we opened Social Catering and Events, which is a massive organization for catering.
Yeah.
Number 3, we do, number 3 was Centrale, our Italian concept. Number 4 is Township, right across the street from Madison Social. Number 5 was Sodo, and in Midtown, the bakery. And then number 6 was Happy Motoring. Number 7 that we're not going to own but will manage is called Charlie Park, which will be a rooftop bar in Cascades on top of the new AC, a Marriott AC hotel.
Wow.
Or should I say AC by Marriott? And so, and then there's a Township in Fort Lauderdale. Our partners operate from that standpoint, and we operate this one up here.
Yeah.
And in between there's For the Table Hospitality, which kind of connects all those things together. So that's a separate kind of focus at times of what we're going to do just from the whole portfolio. And then in between there are venues we manage. Our catering company manages the banquet space at Capital City Country Club. The Gathering, which is right above Madison Social, down in College Town, and numerous other types of things that we get into. Oh, and I'm sorry, I think I said number 7. Number 8 will be Social Kitchen. That opens in Premier Health Club. It was actually supposed to open in the first week of March. Clearly, that didn't happen. The second week of March. And so we're waiting until Premier gets to open back up. And so that should be opening, hopefully in the next, who knows nowadays, but 6 to 8 weeks, whenever we start opening up gyms. And so, so Social Kitchen will be at there. And now we're, one of the things that came out of COVID was our catering company, because obviously there's no gatherings, right?
Yeah.
There's no, catering got slaughtered from a business perspective. Well, we pivoted and we started doing family meals, and you can pick them up at Sodo from, in the evening every weekday.
All over social media. I love it.
So that's going to stay. So that's one thing that came out of COVID. So now the Social Kitchen brand, which was just going to live in a health center, in Premier Health Center, it will actually now have a separate wing to it of family meals for the working professional that you can pick up.
That's fantastic.
So and I know that was a very long-winded answer to
No, it gave me so much. I love it.
But yeah, that's kind of all about us. And if I would have, it hit me one day. I didn't realize. Somebody said to me, I think that the chamber told me, they're like, Tallahassee Chamber, they're like, man, you're you're a big economic driver in Tallahassee. And I was like, I guess, I don't know. And then I started thinking about it. We had over 300 employees.
Mm-hmm.
We were, and obviously since then, and we hope to bring as many of them back to work as quickly as possible. But yeah, 300 plus employees. So.
Wow. That is massive. And I know that, there's different sections of Tallahassee, which is kind of cool. And I grew up on the north side, and then I moved to the college town area for school. And I was introduced to this whole community of restaurants, and it was college town restaurants. And it feels different, especially, when it's owned by like a hospitality group, like For the Table, like you can feel the sense of family throughout all of them. And I've been to most of them, and it's really such a great concept. And following the pages on social media, I've seen a lot of that community outreach and a lot of that stuff, like where your catering company is doing the family meals, and then your virtual cooking classes. I love that.
Yeah.
Bar crawls, things like that.
Your back is against the wall, right? And bar crawls for us down in that area started as a way. From a marketing perspective, it gets a little muddy because what happens, Madso in 3 years, right before we opened anything else, not catering, but anything else down there in College Town, Madso's audience was so massive, and to be able to leverage that audience and the other things we do is super helpful.
Yeah.
And so really bar crawls didn't start out that we want to do bar crawls. Bar crawls had a business need to it of moving people around
the area.
Possible.
Perfect.
And then the other examples you gave, like the virtual cocktail classes or mozzarella making classes, BLT dip classes, all those things. Those are just, your back is against the wall. You're fighting every day to make revenue and at this time. And some of those will probably stay. I mean, we've done, to be honest, some of those will probably stay.
That's
which
awesome.
is kind of cool.
Yeah, it is. Something lasting. It's very validating, especially when your back's up against the wall, like you said, and you produce this thing that is supposed to help, and it actually grows to the point where like you can keep it on after this time passes. Little bit of a pivot now. So did you grow up in Tallahassee? Have you always been here?
I'm in Orlando. I grew up in Orlando, a little town north called Longwood. Okay. I came to school here in 95, graduated my undergrad in 99, got my master's in 2000. So then I have family that's been here, and my cousin is Ed Murray, who owns NAI Talcor. So,
cool.
long-standing community member and business leader here in town. And we moved in, like I said, we moved in 2007. We came to Tallahassee.
Very good. So like working with For the Table and operating all of these different kind of food service operations, you've been feeding Tallahassee for quite some time. Like, how would you characterize our city? Like, by the way we eat, the way we hang, like, just what is Tallahassee to you? What are we like?
Well, there's what we were and what we are.
Yeah.
And which is, you grew up here. I say it all the time. When we started in 2013, if you went to TripAdvisor, there was like 350 restaurants on TripAdvisor. There's now nearly 650, 700. So we've doubled, at least from what I can tell, about the number of restaurants that you have. Number two, when we launched brunch in November of 2013, we were one of 5, I think, that had brunch. No one had Saturday brunch. It was only Sunday. You'd only brunch on Sunday. And we did weekend brunch, so that was new. So it just has changed by leaps and bounds. You got I say all the time, the fact I'm pretty, when we opened, it was, and a lot of people will recognize this, and there's some truth to it still today, but it's way better. Is like when I went to school here, there was Tennessee and Monroe. Why the hell would you go past that? There was no reason, like, for me to go outside of that campus area. And then on the other side, there was no reason for anybody to come down to that area unless there was sporting event or some FSU event that would get you
exactly.
Now that story, the first I think that changed that story was Proof. When they opened on Tennessee Street, first craft beer, people from all over Tallahassee, craft beer was, starting to become a thing. We were number 2. And that's something I'm real proud of is we were about Tallahassee and FSU, but not just about students.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I love students, but at the same time, there's limitations on particularly summer, right? I mean, and if you're only living on the student population, you're going to have problems in certain times of the year. And then number 3 was probably Maple Street Biscuit Company, and so those,
Street.
Yeah, they were all around, right, and all within a mile of each other. And particularly when Proof moved to Railroad Square before they moved again, and there was that. Finally, it gave people a reason to come down. To that area, and then Trader Joe's and Whole Foods, were brands that students were familiar with if you grew up in another place. And so you come there. So you put all that together, I think it's just changed. There was no Liberty Group in Midtown. There was no Bannerman Crossing on the northeast side of town. There was no Seven Hill Tap Room down Appalachian Parkway. And so all these little areas started picking up, and there's just so many more options. And so to define Tallahassee, I think you have to see where we are in the progression of where we were and where we are. A lot of people, probably still associate Tallahassee as chains. I remember, when I moved here in 2007, when I did my interview on a Friday night in 2007, we went to Outback. I mean, nothing wrong with Outback. In fact, Outback was bumping. I mean, back in the day, Outback was ridiculously busy.
Capital Circle location.
Yeah, and so we, so I think we've gone from chains. I think we've gone to I love the story of Cool Beans, being around. That's his first type of that vibe. Ricardo's has been around 20 years.
Oh, Ricardo's is it's just 2 years younger than me, I think. It's
so
places like that my whole life.
So there's a lot more of them, right? And so I think Tallahassee's just grown up a ton.
Yeah,
and we have a ways to go. I think from a hospitality standpoint, I think more and more people are having higher expectations, which is great. The problem on higher expectations are, do you have the labor force and the trained labor force to be able to meet those expectations? Yeah. That is still a challenge in Tallahassee. The culinary talent is getting much better. But, a lot of the people that worked in kitchens, nothing wrong with worked at a chain probably 10 years ago. Nothing wrong with that. It's just different.
Yes, it's different.
And being able to bring all that together, and one of the things that's crazy is the cocktail scene in Tallahassee.
Yes.
It's another one that
we like to drink here.
Yeah, we were one of the first ones that had a cocktail menu. That wasn't a thing. I mean,
I can't even imagine that. Honestly.
So, that wasn't a thing. So we, there was a handful or something like that. And so I think the cocktail culture has tremendously picked up in town.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely played a part in, weaving in different aspects of our little society here, like bringing us together in ways that we might not have before. And, it's kind of, COVID-19 in general is doing that. And it's kind of weird how something so terrible is, it's bringing out a lot of good things as well. Neighbors helping neighbors, people delivering for each other and things like that. But in terms of like pre-COVID, I know this is kind of one of your typical interview questions, but what were your biggest challenges before we got to all of this? Like, was it marketing? Was it, it obviously wasn't awareness because everyone knows about For the Table and those restaurants, but like, what was it like for y'all?
We were growing. I mean, we were growing at a rapid rate, and we still are. I mean, but add in new projects. But Madso was up year over year, so it was on a good trajectory. Township was about stable year over year. Centrale about stable year over year. Catering was up tremendously. We had just hired a new, and she's still with us, but we had just hired a new sales director that had deep ties in the legislature into session. So therefore, that part of our business was exploding. So we were really on a serious growth path. Challenges were like always, and I mean these are consistent problems. I mean, we don't have a marketing problem, which is nice. But one of probably people. I mean, and when I say people, just getting quality people into the organization. I mean, I say it all the time. I'm in the people business. We're in talent hoarding left and right. If you are 25 to 35 and you love the hospitality industry, which is not common. I mean, it's not. You love the hospitality industry and you want to be with I want to talk to you every time. You know, I don't have anything. I want to talk to you. And so we're in the people business and getting people organized. One of the things that we were really working on was, you have myself, my partner Brian, and his wife, who's a partner, Katie. So Brian, myself, and Katie at the top of the pyramid, and then we kind of have the next level of which we're partners in everything, right? Then you have partners that are partners in specific businesses. We were really focusing on that third level of talent that is going to take us to the next level of where we want to go. And so we got all of our hires in by this pandemic, which was good. Little scary because you start adding salaries without the revenue. But like I said, catering, pivoting on a dime and doing these meals, and some other things that they've done creatively is I mean, that keeps people getting paid.
Exactly.
Out of our organization, a couple entities didn't have to cut salaries. A couple did. And we're fighting back through that process. We've already been able to take management that went from 100 to 50%. March, whenever they announced that they were doing what's it called, takeout only. That was, so the 17th was the most up and down. St. Patrick's Day was the up and down day. And then they went to 50%. And then that went on from 18th, 19th. So March 20th. So March 20th, I'll have to remember the date because it was like one of the worst days of my life. You not only were all the hourly employees laid off basically, but then you had to have the conversation with management and say everybody's going to go to half pay. And so, and you feel, right? I mean, there's a lot of levels of that. Number one, when you're a business owner, I don't know one business owner right now that I'm talking to that doesn't talk about their employees first. And so it's an incredibly caring community, particularly in hospitality, I think, because again,
what it's all about, hospitality, internal and external.
And then, but as a marketer in me, I believe that one of marketing's most important functions is to keep revenue coming through the door to keep people getting paid. And so there's like a hopelessness that you have, right? You're like, no matter what I do, I'm not going to be able to make it all work. But, we were able to already pay employees back their 50% cut, and we moved them to 75%. So, so we've gotten some wins.
That's good.
For the last 6 weeks, not to mention, we got our stimulus money.
That helps, a cushion to fall back on.
But Tallahassee, I'm sure we're not the only community facing this, but we are one of them, is super unique. Okay. This happened in spring. Spring is when the hospitality industry makes money because the summers are terrible. Like when I say terrible,
everyone goes home.
Well, Madso hangs on. Township goes about half revenue. Centralia about half revenue. And that's just our little stores. I mean, I know plenty of owners in this town. I mean, catering has flirted with shutting down in July. There's no event, except for a wedding here or a wedding there. Mm-hmm. So we, everybody in Tallahassee knows spring, March, April, and graduation weekend in March or May.
Oh yeah, graduation week.
You make your money to get you through the summer.
Yep,
right?
And then you've got football season.
That didn't happen, right? Mm-hmm. So then you have so this happened when we make our money. We don't know when we're going to be back at any percentage. We don't know when we're going to be back at full percentage. You don't know how comfortable people are going to be in any of those situations. Then do you have students come back? Do you have football? If you have football, are there people in the stands? And then are there full bore football? So we have literally 8 different things we're tracking.
Yeah, it's insane.
So you can't just go blowing money. Like you just can't go spending money. You have to sit on cash because I'm not looking at this from how do we get to the, I'm looking at this, how do we get to maybe 2021?
Yeah.
And what does that require? And so it's exhausting. You do a lot of, not only emotionally are you going up and down, just like everybody else. I mean, I've pretty much sheltered myself. I don't know what the hell's going on with it. I don't know how many cases we have. I don't want to know. I don't want to know any of that stuff.
Yeah, I've kind of had to chill on the coronavirus news because it's just depressing. It's every day.
It doesn't do me any good.
Yeah.
It gives me another thing to worry about when I'm trying to figure out cash flow analysis.
Exactly,
ideas and execution and people and all the things that we have, and planning. I mean, oh, by the way, we're still planning stuff from a business standpoint, because when we get out of this, we've got to be ready. So, it doesn't do me any good. So I try and refrain from the negativity as much as possible.
That's good. Yeah. So, I mean, it sounds like you're really, holding on to the future to get through all of this. It's just, business as usual as you can, and you're very adaptable, and you just try and make it through.
Yeah, we're operating. I mean, everybody says the same thing in the house that I've talked to. We're 15 to 20% sales of what we normally are in store. So I think there's some incredible innovation that's gone out there that I love.
Yeah.
And people have done a really, really good job of changing their business model on a dime. I mean, that's what, a lot of people didn't realize. You went from, for us, I mean, I think probably a lot of places like this, to less than 1% of your business being through delivery, to 100 or pickup to 100%.
God, I can't even imagine.
Literally in the span
overnight.
Literally overnight. Governor said that on March 20th. We did a phone call. We shut down that night because it was just like, holy cow.
Yeah.
And then we opened the next day. Next day as a takeout only, delivery only function. And you did that with not a lot of people because everybody got laid off. So I think most people are saying, and I don't know other industries, but I can say ours. Most people are saying and hospitality is known for working hard. Mm-hmm. I think most people are saying, I haven't worked this hard in probably a couple years. Wow. I know for myself, I mean, I'm probably working. There is no pause, which there really isn't that much anyway, just because of the nature. I mean, you can't own a business and just go time out.
Yeah. I need a break.
But this is way more than. I mean, this is way more intense than just that level of pressure or whatever you call it. This is like, dude, you got to get in the trenches. Like you're
gotta get dirty.
You're going to be part of the solution to everything. There's no more looking at people and going, I pay you to be the solution, right?
Yeah.
Which there should be some value to that.
Of course.
But now it's like, it's all hands on deck.
Yep. Everyone's got to do it. Pull it out of the back of the closet, dust it off, whether that's, someone's marketing skills or creativity. Like everyone's just, it's been really great how I've seen everyone ship in and these really fantastic creative solutions to business, to staying social, to just surviving this as a very social society. And doing Zoom conferences and things like that, chatting with people over text messages. It's made me talk to people I haven't necessarily talked to in a long time, just because, I've been busy. But
yeah, my wife does Zoom happy hours with old friends from high school and all that other
I love
stuff.
that.
And so she's constantly doing them now. And she'll say something, I'm like, you could have done this before, but
right? We were all so consumed with ourselves. I feel like we were just so focused on what we were doing. And, at least for me, I've definitely taken a step back and taken stock and prioritized and everything. And it's very eye-opening what's going on right now.
The people that I teach as well at Flagler College and here in Tallahassee, and I have students that, one particular student, not only she went from, working to now laid off to she has got 5 all in school during the day. Mm-hmm. And so she's helping them all day long. Then, which is even crazy just to think about the computer in their house has to rotate because they don't have 4 computers, right? It's what some people are going through is nothing short of probably what the human spirit is all about. Because I could not. My kids are 11 and 12. They're pretty easy. I gotta, all things considered, they're probably pretty easy. And one of them goes to private school, and so private school is a little bit of a different animal than public school.
I also went to private school.
Yeah. So my kid goes to McClay.
I went to McClay.
Yeah, there you go. And so so that's a little bit of a different animal because you have less students, teachers to ratios and all that stuff.
Curriculum's different.
But the way that they're tackling, the way that these families are having to tackle all these things really impresses me. It really is. And I feel for those people. I do Zoom calls with somebody and, they got a kid that's sitting there yanking on their leg or whatever the case may be the entire time. And you're like, dude, how do you live like this?
Yeah.
I leave every day and we own a condo in Midtown for when my partner's down.
Yeah.
And so I go there and work. I don't have to be where my kids are doing their stuff. And I just leave and come. And now I have an office that I never had.
My couch is my office.
Yeah. And that's I don't have to go through that, which is difficult, right? Yeah. I mean, I literally pick up and go to someplace else that helps me drive and get the things that I have done.
Yeah. That's really fantastic. So just in terms of, the hospitality industry and just people in general, I mean, do you have any words of advice or just hang in there's kind of terms that for everyone?
Really say. I mean, that's all you can really say. And I don't, it's every business. Fight. You gotta
fight.
Really, really the best thing that's helped me, I think, and the first week or two was super emotional, probably like everybody, like you go your highs and your lows like crazy. I just try and not worry about things that aren't in my control. I mean, I can't sit there and dwell on when are we going to open. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to, I mean, we got to have a pseudo plan, but you can't focus on all that stuff.
Yep. You just got to work with what you've got. Yep. So last thing, I know that we're all busy and crazy working, but do you have like a guilty quarantine pleasure, like bad TV or like snacks, or like do you take up the entire couch? Like what's your little quarantine vice?
I don't know. I am drinking way more than I used to. And the amount of gin that's flowing through my house right now is pretty impressive. We're getting every day. A lot of alcohol delivered here as well. Yeah, every day is a yes. I mean, it's
cocktail party.
I mean, not that like I'm a crazy drunk and I'm falling down.
No, it's just like I get it, like a little glass of something when you work.
Well, I mean, it's definitely been a couple gins, and it's 3 gins, and it's 4 gins, and then you're like, what the hell? Like I'm pretty sure my body is like resilient. Literally, I went on a walk with my wife, which I need to do way more. And I think gin sweated like into my eye.
Oh,
Like, I was like, my eye was burning. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's gin. So the trips to the liquor store have been 100% more than normal, and so that's probably the biggest. I don't really have anything outside, probably. Yeah. I have probably spent a lot more time than I ever would in my backyard because the weather here in Tallahassee is pretty good. I was joking with my wife. I'm like, I don't know if this is I don't know if this is God having, a sense of humor or this is a blessing, this weather, because, we would be, again, in the hospitality industry, you make really good money when the weather's good.
Yeah. People want to be outside, sit outside, go 100%, out.
And we have patios and we have doors that open and we can create that vibe. And that obviously isn't happening. So we would be crushing it from a business standpoint. But then again, I get to sit outside, it's almost May and the last couple of days have been like high of like 78.
Yeah, it's been beautiful.
So I guess if outside of drinking, which I do this while I drink, is probably create a fire in the backyard and sit around and just put music on and my kids come out and
that's awesome.
We're gonna shoot the crap for a little while and then they go back in and dad sits there and just hangs out. Yeah, that's probably what I'm doing the most of. I picked I'm trying to pick back up guitar.
Oh.
So I have that going on, but that's
fun.
Other than that, I'm literally working from when I wake up all the way till when I go to bed in some.
Mm-hmm. It's always something. Yeah, I know.
Earbuds. My wife bought me AirPods for Christmas, and I never touched them. To be honest, I was like, whatever. And,
come in handy now, don't they?
I found those. Yeah, I found those and I used them. I'm like, well, I will never go back to holding my phone again.
Yeah, no, never.
Why would I ever touch that thing?
Yeah, exactly. It's disgusting.
Exactly. So maybe that could be my advice.
That's funny. Yeah, I know that we're doing a lot of porch sitting with the dogs, and I'm pretty sure I'm getting wine stains on my lips now. But but yeah, it's been a creative adjustment. But it's like you said, just kind of going with it like we can and taking one step at a time. It's just how we have to do it.
Right.
Yep. I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me today. It was really awesome getting to know you and hearing about For the Table. I know we'll probably chat again soon because y'all are doing some pretty cool stuff.
Thank you.
Do you have anything that you maybe want to add for everybody?
No, I'm good, man. I appreciate
sweet.
the time. Thank you so much. And,
all right, I appreciate.
I got a question for you, Matt.
Oh,
Brian. So, a lot of people have been back and forth about, like growing their during the COVID-19 pandemic. So with that in mind, some people kind of feel bad or guilty about doing promotions and sales and still trying to earn money, while others are like, hey, we should be focused on giving and sharing. What's your perspective on this?
There's two. I say it all the time. There's two things that are above and beyond what I'm about as a business owner. Number one is protecting my risk and my partner's risks and my investors' risks. So risk. And number two, providing for employees. Mm-hmm. So if look, I'm a giving guy. However, this is not the time for me to be giving away free meals and not thinking about how to get revenue in the door, because this thing is not a hurricane. A hurricane, you're going to come back. Well, provided you're not, you don't get hit by Michael, and go 18 months. I'm saying the hurricanes we've had in Tallahassee.
We're used to. It's Florida. We're used to hurricanes.
I've experienced, right? That's 4 days, 5 days. You're back in, and you're back in it, and we can handle that. And there's business interruption insurance for that, and all those other things. There's no insurance for this. Yeah. There's no end in sight, and so I have no guilt in my life at all about being as innovative and creative to protect what I built and what my partners have built and what my investors have invested in and what our employees come to expect. I have zero guilt about that whatsoever.
And you shouldn't. That's a fantastic way of doing it.
Yeah, I agreed. And that's kind of my perspective as well. Is, one thing that, I think a lot of people kind of overlooked is that, you know, you still have bills to pay, right? And as long as there are bills to pay for your business and for your family and for your employees, they still have, you know, liabilities and responsibilities and obligations that they need to take care of. Even if like things student loans get pushed back to September, it's still going to come back and compound on them, you know? So They still need to find ways to bring in an income and protect themselves, protect their families, protect the ones that are really pouring into them. And so I'm the same way. Now I do.
No, you can do things tastefully. Like, I mean, right. I'm not about ready to slap a Madison Social logo on a COVID mask.
Right.
I mean, that's a little egregious, you know. You know, but you can do. I think you can do things. I mean, I what was it? I saw there's a great group here in town, Tallahassee Foodies.
Yes.
And you know, it's got
yes, I love them.
It's awesome. But somebody asked recently, is there somebody out there that's super struggling that I can help with? And I'm like, everybody's struggling.
I saw that post in your comment.
There's no like degree of struggling here. Right. There's no like, you know what? I'm at a 1. You're at no, everybody. No, that's not. That's
on a scale of 1 to 5.
Yeah, like I mean, everybody's struggling. I mean, some of them might have a little bit easier than others because they've been around, they have credibility, they have a bigger following or whatever.
Location,
But I'm not feeling guilty for any of those things about what I have. That was a lot of work to create the brand and the connection and all those things that we have, you know. And so, but 100% everybody's struggling, and so. You know, I don't fault anybody doing anything for their business in this time. I really don't. I do fault you if you do it in a way to guilt other people. Now that's where I draw the line. Like, you know, you do what you need to do, but we don't need to sit here and walk around. We don't need to judge. Passive aggressively judge other businesses of how they're operating,
how they're surviving. Yeah, absolutely. It's a team act, and you know we can't be doing the whole like who's struggling more kind of thing. Like, you know, it's like don't just pick one. Just, you know, if you're gonna get delivery or takeout, why don't you rotate the schedule or something? You know, things like
spread
that.
The love.
Yeah,
pick what you like to eat and go with it.
Yeah, I mean, just like
I'm also not one of those super. I mean, as a shock, I'm not one of those super local guys either. Like I appreciate it. I love the fact that we're quote unquote local and we built what we did and, you know, and all that. But I don't besiege anybody that's a franchise owner.
Yeah.
You know, like they provide local jobs. They took some risk themselves. You know, I don't get involved in that. Just eat what you want, do what you want, do business for people that like to do business with you. Exactly. If that all works out for everybody, I think we can all just proceed. I don't really need to give a whole lot of thought about, you know, does somebody order takeout from Red Robin? That doesn't bother me. Like, good. You like Red Robin. Go knock yourself out.
Congratulations.
Right. Well done. So yeah, And I appreciate you for telling us how Madison Social has pivoted during this time, like with your catering to doing like family meals. I'm definitely going to have to try that out for my family.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We are quite at a distance, right? We live out in Woodville, so we're about 30 minutes from any point in the city. So it's hard to get back and forth to the grocery stores. And then by the time we get to the grocery store, it's a whole hour later when we get back home before I start cooking. And by then it's like 9 o'clock and I don't feel like cooking anymore.
You get to hit up Sign Yard, right?
Oh yes, that is like our go-to right now. We literally live around the corner from there. We can walk there. And we have. But yeah, so and you know, that's the important thing too, is to learn how to pivot. So if there's any takeaway that we can share with people from this, is to just be prepared to pivot and make sure that your business has some flexibility in case there are times like this. Now, you can't predict them, but it does highlight, and from a marketing standpoint, I'm sure Matt would agree, that it's very important to understand your position when you're you know, growing your business, that when things like this happens, you need to have an online presence, because if you didn't before, you're pretty much screwed now, right? Because you're going to have to take on a whole bunch of risk in order to get online as quickly as possible, but still as effective and advertise and put money in ad spend and things like that. And so that pivot or that flexibility is extremely important during this time, and it's highlighted that for a lot of people who have been coming to us recently saying, hey, we need some help getting online.
Yeah.
And so we've been putting out these digital products and stuff, Matt, and I'd be happy to get your feedback on them. We'll send you a few copies. Me and Jenna get them over to you to just kind of help business owners. We've been dropping some ebooks and stuff. And we want to at least help them DIY so they can save some of that, upfront cost that they're going to spend trying to get their business online.
Cool.
Awesome. Yep. Everyone working together. It's the ultimate team experience. Alrighty. Yeah, so that was one of our best interviews. I think it was really comprehensive in terms of just, new and fun and lots of new ideas shooting around there. So yes, thank you both for your time. I really appreciate it.
All right, guys. We'll see you later.
Definitely.
Thank you so much.
Peace. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.